So in previous video we have learned about gradient in detail with mathematical proof starting with gravitational potential example. Okay, this is a quick video of gradient. Okay, so where we will now do mathematical proof how we get the formula for gradient. So we will start with our example. So let's take, these are our some fields, some curves, okay, which we all know is given by function f is equal to x square plus y square. So let us say, for example, this is our given function. Okay, so what is the gradient of this function? Since f is equal to x square plus y square, let us draw our x-axis and y-axis. Okay, so this is our x-axis, this is our y-axis. Okay, as we move, so let me give these curves the color of our function, the color which we have used for our function. Okay, so if we move radially outward, we will reach, say, first here, first on this curve, say f1, then on f2, then on f3, as we keep on moving radially outward. If we take this curve f2 and f3, say f2 and f3 are very close. Okay, so if we take our curve f2, so if we move along this curve f2 point, so if we move along this curve f2, the value at every point will be same, that is f2, because the distance r2 for every point is same. Okay, because f is nothing but x square plus y square is equal to r square. If r2 is same, then r2 square will also be same, that means f2 will also be same along this curve f2. Okay, so what is the definition of our gradient? If we apply gradient on f, gradient is directional derivative. Okay, if we apply directional derivative to a scalar function, it will become, since gradient is del by del x in I cap direction plus del by del y in j cap direction. If there is, it is in 3D, then plus del by del z in k direction. So it will become del x, del f by del x in I cap plus del f by del y in j cap. Okay, if we apply del to f2, it will be 0, because on f2 the value of f is not changing, the value of f is same or constant, that is f2 at every point. But if we move from f2 to f3, this value will change. Okay, this value will change. So For general del f, it will not be 0. Okay, because del represents change. Okay, here particularly it is directional change. Okay, but directional change is also a change. Okay, if we apply del on a vector quantity, then it becomes so. So if we say move, so we want to know the direction of our gradient. Okay, say at this point we move in some direction, say this direction. Okay, so what we can do, since gradient is a vector quantity, we can decompose this vector into its components. Okay, one in the radial direction and one along the tangential direction. Okay, since along the tangential direction f2 is same. Okay, so this r t will become 0. Okay, because for this r t, delta f is equal to 0, delta f2 is equal to 0. But for this radial r, this radial r component, our del f is not 0. Okay, not equal to 0, as we have already seen here. Okay, that's why our general r vector only left with radial component. Okay, because our tangential component is 0, so that's why the direction of gradient is always perpendicular to the given curve. Okay, to the curve defined by our given function. Okay, so if we try to move along some random path delta r, what will be the change along that path? The change along that path will only be in the radial direction, because along tangential direction that change is 0. Okay, so what is gradient? Gradient gives us a vector whose magnitude tell us how much is the change in the value of f, how much change is there in the value of f. Okay, delta r gives so gradient. So if we want to calculate the magnitude of our change, then we will simply apply our Pythagoras theorem. Okay, that is fx square plus fy the square the root of f square f x square plus fy square. Okay, this fx is del f by del x. Okay, this will give us how much there is change if we move along some direction r in our function. Okay, if we want to calculate the change in respective direction, we will leave our calculations here, because here it will give us the change in respective direction. Okay, in I cap this term gives the change in I direction. In j direction the function changes this much. Okay, as whole we want to take how much function changes as a whole in terms of magnitude, then we can do like this also. Okay, but usually we leave our calculation up to here because we want to see our change of f in respective directions. Okay, so if we want to see change of f in respective directions, we will leave at this point. Okay.